We tried for years. I'm Daniel. My wife Emily and I went through every test, every hormone shot, every pill, and more heartbreak than we thought we could bear. After the third failed round of IVF, the doctor gently told us what, deep down, we already suspected. I was infertile. No viable sperm. The words hit like a brick wall. But we clung to each other, still hoping, somewhere deep in us, that miracles were real. Emily was stronger than me. She kept her faith, always whispering, "Everything happens for a reason." Or maybe it's just not our path. But I saw the grief in her eyes when she thought I wasn't watching. We discussed adoption, surrogacy, donor sperm. But none of it ever felt right. Not out of ego, not out of shame. We just both still longed for a child who carried a part of us. Piece of our love made real. Then the phone call came. It was a Tuesday. I was at my desk, lost in numbers and emails when my phone buzzed. Emily's voice cracked on the other end. "Daniel, I'm pregnant." I froze. I couldn't form words. I stared at the screen in disbelief, waiting for some logical explanation. "I took 3 tests," she said breathlessly. "I went to the clinic. It's real. You're going to be a dad." My lungs forgot how to breathe. I gripped the phone while the world kept moving around me like nothing had changed, when everything had. "But how?" I managed. "It's a miracle," she said softly. "Ours." I wanted to believe her, desperately. Despite everything we knew, everything science had told us, I forced the doubts down. We deserved this happiness. As the months passed, Emily bloomed. She was vibrant, full of joy. She picked out baby clothes, decorated the nursery, read every parenting book she could find. Our family was thrilled. Friends showered us with gifts and blessings. And I smiled through it all, kissed my wife's forehead, and whispered, "Thank you for this gift." But late at night, doubts crept back in. Small things, little cracks. She talked about pregnancy cravings, pickles and ice cream, but she'd always hated pickles. She mentioned morning sickness, yet never missed a day of work. It wasn't proof. It wasn't anything solid. But it made my heart uneasy. At 20 weeks, we went in for the anatomy scan. Everything looked perfect. The technician asked if we wanted to know the baby's gender. Emily answered quickly, "Let's wait." I agreed. But again, something felt off. I started noticing the way she dodged certain topics, how she'd go quiet if someone asked personal questions. Then, one night after a dinner with friends who'd been gushing over her belly, I found her crying in the bathroom. "Hey," I said gently, kneeling beside her. "Talk to me." She wiped her face and gave a faint smile. I feel like I don't deserve this happiness." That should have comforted me. But instead, my pulse raced. The next morning, I made up my mind. I ordered a home DNA test kit. Discreet, simple. I didn't tell Emily. When it arrived, I waited until she was asleep, then used a swab on a baby onesie from the drawer. A tiny blue sleeper. I sealed it, sent it off, and waited. 3 days later, the results came in. No match. The baby wasn't mine. My hands trembled as I read it again and again, willing the words to change. But they didn't. Emily had lied. And I didn't know why. I didn't confront her, not right away. I watched. I listened. Then, one night when she was asleep, I unlocked her phone. I hated myself for it. But I had to know. There he was. David. Someone I'd never heard of. Photos. Messages. Them together, laughing, touching, kissing. One message read, "He thinks it's a miracle. I feel terrible. But I couldn't lose him. I couldn't tell him." My chest tightened. Another. I had to lie. If he knew I got pregnant this quickly, he'd know. They'd only just met. More texts. "He doesn't know. He can't. I love him, David. But I love you too. This baby is ours." That word, ours, shattered me. The next morning, I looked her in the eyes and asked her to tell me the truth. She didn't deny it. She collapsed, sobbing, and confessed. "I was so tired, Daniel. So tired of failing. Of seeing you in pain. Then I met him just once, just briefly. One mistake. I got pregnant and I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I thought, Maybe if I believed hard enough, it could still be yours. You told me it was a miracle, I said. I wanted it to be, she whispered. I left that night. We didn't fight in court, but everything else fell apart in silence. I gave her the house, took only what I needed, stopped returning messages, changed my number, cut ties with the life I once thought was mine. Months later, she gave birth. A healthy baby boy, dark-haired, wide-eyed, beautiful. I held him once, just once. He looked nothing like me, and still part of me ached to protect him. But I knew I couldn't stay. I live alone now. I see a therapist. I write stories like this to try and make sense of everything. They say betrayal changes you. It does. It strips you raw, makes you question your memories, your instincts, your worth. But I've learned something. Real miracles don't come dressed in deception. They come with truth, with bravery, with the strength to face heartbreak head-on. Emily sent a letter once. She said the boy asks about me. She wants him to know who I am. I haven't written back. Not yet. Maybe someday. But not until I'm ready. For now, I live in the quiet echo of a miracle that never was. The late-night talks, the holidays, all of it, now tinted by a single, inescapable fact. She had lied from the start. I couldn't bring myself to erase. Our photos, not yet. Too many memories, woven into each one. Some days I'd glance at one, smile briefly, then remember what it actually stood for. Other times I'd hurl my phone across the room, rage and sorrow crashing over me again. Friends tried checking in. Some picked sides. Most stayed quiet, unsure of what to say. Emily told everyone we were on a break. Isn't that always how it goes? A break, as if this was temporary, as if we'd resume. But it was over, and deep down everyone sensed it. I began seeing a therapist. First it felt useless. What wisdom could a stranger with a clipboard offer? That would make this any less painful? But slowly, the fog started to lift. Beneath the anger and confusion, we found the truth. I wasn't furious just because she cheated. I was furious because she sold me a dream, made me believe in something beautiful. That was never really ours to begin with. She took a miracle that didn't belong to her. One evening, I got a call from her sister, Sarah. We'd always gotten along. She was the only one still talking to both sides. Daniel, she said gently, she's having a hard time. I didn't speak at first. I was sitting outside, watching smog veil the city's glow. I know, I finally replied. So am I. She regrets it, Sarah added. She never meant to hurt you. That doesn't change anything, I said, my voice splintering. It already did. There was a pause. Then, in a whisper, she says the baby looks like David. I shut my eyes. I had suspected it, but hearing it out loud still broke something in me. I just thought you should know, she said. You deserve the truth. I gave a bitter laugh. Yeah, a little late for that. After the call, I sat for hours, wondering if Emily ever saw the baby and thought of me. Wondered if she remembered how we held each other. After every failed IVF attempt, how we promised to keep going together. Instead, she ran, found someone else, built an illusion around him. Time dragged on, but it moved. I buried myself in work, took extra shifts, lingered in the office. It helped dull the silence. I even joined a men's support group for betrayal survivors. I hated it at first, talking in circles, like this kind of heartbreak was normal. But eventually it helped. Their stories, raw, painful, familiar, kept me grounded. One man stood out, James. 10 years of marriage and 3 of those spent living a lie. He never cried, never raised his voice. Just spoke like he'd rehearsed his grief 1,000 times. The worst part, he said once, is realizing that the person you loved didn't really exist. You fall for a version of them, an idea. And when that illusion breaks, you don't just lose them. You lose the you that believed. That struck something in me, because that's what I lost. The version of Emily who kissed me in the rain, who comforted me at my dad's funeral, who held my hand in cemeteries as we joked about our future graves. Now all of that felt like someone else's memories. 6 months after I left, Emily sent a letter. No return address, just my name scribbled in blue ink. Inside was a picture, our baby, barely 6 months old, wrapped in a soft blue blanket, eyes half closed in a sleepy smile. On the back she wrote, "He asks for you sometimes. I told him you're his dad." I didn't know what else to say. "I'm sorry, truly. I hope one day you can forgive me. M." I stared at it for a long time, didn't destroy it, didn't respond, just tucked it away with the rest. A week later I called Sarah. "Can you give me his number?" I asked. "David's." She hesitated. "Why?" "I need to talk to him." She gave it to me. I didn't explain. I didn't owe one. I called him that same night. He picked up on the third ring. "Who is this?" His voice was cautious. "Daniel," I said. Silence. Then a breath. "I figured you'd call eventually," he said. "She was pregnant," I told him. "She even told me." "I didn't know," he replied. "Not at first. She told me you two were over." "She lied to you too," I said flat. "I know that now," he admitted. "We're not together anymore." She couldn't live with the guilt. I let that settle. "So, what about the boy?" I asked. "He's mine legally," David said. "But I know what you meant to him. I'm not going to keep him from you. If you want to be part of his life." I didn't respond right away. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Not yet." "I get it," he said. "But if that changes, I'll help however I can." We ended the call there. And for the first time in ages, the air felt lighter. A year rolled by. I started seeing people again. No expectations, just coffee, laughter, trying to remember what normal felt like. One night, I met a woman named Leah. We talked for hours, books, music, cities we wanted to visit. She didn't ask for my past, just listened when I gave her pieces of it. We became friends, then something more. And one day I realized I could feel again. Not forget, not undo, but move forward. Emily sent another envelope. This time it held a drawing. Stick figures in crayon, labeled Mommy and Daddy. I framed it, placed it beside a photo of us, the three of us smiling that last Christmas. I didn't reply, not yet, but I didn't close the door either. People always say cheaters never change. Maybe they're right sometimes, but people also act from fear, weakness, pain. It doesn't excuse anything, but it helps make sense of it. Emily made a choice, a devastating one. She lost the life we shared. She lost me, lost herself, and our son was caught in the wreckage. Sometimes I wonder if she lies awake, gazing at the ceiling, haunted by the same questions I once had. Could I have forgiven her? Could we have rebuilt? Maybe if she had been honest. But she wasn't. And lies grow like roots. Once they're buried deep enough, they tear everything apart. Even miracles.